G'day guys and welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video I will be ranking NRL 2023 starting fullbacks. Now I did not create this list. This list was created by Da Boys Incorporated. Shout out to whoever that is. I've just added one person and that is Reece Walsh because Reece Walsh wasn't in this tier list. So yeah, look, the only thing I've changed is I've gone 1 through to 17, whereas the boys had like elite tier list all the way down to like unproven. So yeah, I'm going to rank them from 17 all the way up to number 1 based on 2023 performance. Now, I understand that doing tier list videos and ranking videos, a lot of people will disagree, and that is absolutely fine if you do disagree with anything or any way I rank these. Let me know in the comments. I'm happy to hear your opinions. I really am. Look, the only thing I'd probably change in here, I think most of this is fine. I'd probably would have put Jake Averillo. However, Hayes Perham was the favourite at the start of the year for the Bulldogs fullback jersey. But other than that, I think it's pretty good. So let's get started with number 17, and that is going to be Hayes Perham. Look, he shows flashes of brilliance, but he's definitely not up there as one of the better fullbacks in the game, in my opinion. Yeah, unfortunately, I really don't think he will play much more NRL. They may get him a few games in the centres, but I don't see it happening. He's not going to be playing fullback anymore for the Dogs. That I nearly can be certain of. Whether he goes to the Super League and kills it over there, I don't know, but he's, in my opinion, not a fullback. I don't see him as a fullback anyway. All right, next up. Look, again, as I said, things, you're going to disagree with things. I'm putting Tyrell Sloan at 16. The Dogs just running around the hair. Sorry about that. So I'm putting Tyrell Sloan at 16. I like Sloan. I think he's got plenty of potential. We just haven't seen it yet. We've seen glimpses of it, but for me, I definitely think there are 15 better fullbacks on this tier list ahead of Tyrell Sloan there. So for me, 15 is a pretty good ranking. All right, next up, I'm going Seb Chris. I like Seb Chris. I think he's not an elite level centre, but he's definitely a great centre. He did a good job filling in a fullback, but I didn't think he was great, to be honest. And then he ended up getting shifted out at the end of the year, moved back into the centres for Jordan Rapana. Look, I thought he did his job. He was fine. Some games he was outstanding, but I don't think he's a fullback. I don't think he's a fullback. I think he's a very good centre, very capable centre. He could fill the role of fullback if desperate, I guess. But yeah, I don't see him as a fullback. I definitely see him as a centre. Again, as I said, definitely, there was definitely patches of brilliance at fullback, but in my opinion, not a fullback. He's a centre. We move on and we go to number 14. And this is where it gets tricky because a lot of these players had good seasons. Some had great seasons. Some had amazing seasons. Some weren't up to the level we know they can be. I feel like, look, the kid had an amazing season, but I feel like Jahream Buller at 14 is probably fair for now. I definitely think he can be a top 10 fullback in the NRL. I think he will get there eventually, but at this point in time, I've got to put him at 14. I know, it's a big call, but yeah, I just think that everybody else is sort of, it's hard. It is hard because he's had such a great season. I'd say he probably finished second for Rookie of the Year. Look, I'm going to put him at 14. We're going to move on from it. I know you guys are probably going to disagree, and that's fine. Again, as I said, you're welcome to your opinion. But yeah, I've got him at 14. In number 13, I'm actually going to go a little bit disrespectful here and go Will Kennedy. I like Will Kennedy. I think he offers so much for Cronulla. But when it comes to like all these other fullbacks, I think there are better options than Will Kennedy. I really do. Again, like the bloke, I think he's a good fullback and he fits the Cronulla system perfectly. But I just think there are better options down here. All right, in number 12, and I'm going to get peppered for this. I'm going Turbo. Big reason, didn't play much of the 2023 season. Injury definitely hammered his season. So this, not based off performance, because when he did play, he was pretty good. But I can't rank him higher than these other guys when he missed out on most of the season. So I'm going to leave Turbo at 12 and move on from it. Again, guys, the only reason I'm doing it is because of the injuries. If he played a full season, he would have been a top 5 fullback, in my opinion. All right, next up. It just keeps getting harder. Gonna go AJ, number 11. Brimo is a great player, very good player. Definitely on the cusp of a top 10 fullback this season. But for me, he slightly misses out. Look, had a pretty good year. He really did. But yeah, I'm not going to rank him any higher than 11th. I think that's a fair ranking for him. Look, you guys might disagree, but I think 11th is fine. Number 10, Trell Mitt. Look, Latrell, again, started the season phenomenal. I reckon top 5 fullback easily. Later on in the season, after coming back from injury, kind of struggled a bit. Didn't really take off like he did in the earlier stages. And then, I don't know, it was just a little bit disappointing at the end of the year. I love Latrell, always will have his back as well with all this rubbish in the media. But for me, I can't rank him any higher than 10th this season. I really can't. And you might look down at the list and go, mate, you got some of these people over Latrell, AJ, Turbo, like you're crazy. But honestly, hear me out. All right, next up is one of those players, and you guys might say he's actually ranked too low. Some of you might say he's ranked too high. But I got Nick Meaney. I thought Nick Meaney's season this year was phenomenal for the Storm. You know, he could barely get a run at the Bulldogs, and now, like, I'd say you could barely drop him from fullback there at Storm. He has been so safe under the high ball. He does the tough stuff, takes those tough carries. I really love the growth of Nick Meaney. It's just amazing what the Melbourne Storm system can do for a player. So Nick Meaney in 9th, I think, is completely fair. All right, again, gets tougher and tougher, but I'm going Hammer. Hammer, first player in the top 8 for me. Outstanding season for the Hammer. Great, pretty well all the year. I know he did move into the centres later on in the season, but he's still a great fullback. Still a great fullback, I think. But look, if you did say that he should be below some of these guys, I wouldn't fully disagree with you. I just think that he's had a pretty good season. Like, when you look at it, a lot of people are going, is Jermaine Osako going to be the fullback? Is Tessie New going to get there? Is it going to be Hammer? Who knows? Hammer made it his own, and he also was just electric all season. So I think he definitely deserves to be in the top 8 there. Jeez, it gets hard. Oh, this is difficult. Okay, I'm going to go Clint Gutherson. This feels to me the most disrespectful ranking, to be honest, because Clint, while the Eels had a pretty disappointing season, Clint Gutherson was actually extremely good. His season was really good, but I just think these 6 these 6 left should be ranked above him. That's just my personal opinion. Again, great season for Clint, but I just think these 6 are better. It's so hard to rank fullbacks. It's so hard to rank anyone, to be honest, because it's so tough. But shout out Clint Gutherson. Great year. All right, next up. Waz fans, look away. Go and CNK. I know. He was injured a bit of the year. rank him higher. I've got 5 more players that are just outstanding. So, Chance, I love him. I think he's a great player. I think he's had a terrific season for the Warriors. Outstanding season. Definitely helped improve them, that's for sure. One of the signings of the season, but for me, 6th spot is pretty well perfect for Chance, in my honest opinion. All right, next up, James Tedesco, a player that you'd probably have in your top 4 any other year. This year, for half of it, he was very disappointing. The next half, when the Roosters went on that run, he was outstanding. Definitely flipped the switch and turned it up for the Roosters. But look, I think these 4 players listed below definitely deserve to be ranked a little bit higher this season. All right, next up for me is Dylan Edwards. Safe, he's reliable, he's great on defense, he knows where to be. He's just a high IQ fullback. He's a high IQ fullback, knows his job, does it well. He's a meter eater, great defensive player. He's the full package. However, he's not as explosive, as damaging as these 3 that are left. Like, I don't really see Dylan Edwards being the man to break a game apart. He can definitely win you a game by amazing defensive reads, but it's just he doesn't have the X factor that the next 3 do, in my personal opinion. All right, in number 3, Scotty Drinkwater. Great season for the Cowboys. While the Cowboys were disappointing and didn't make the top 8, Scott Drinkwater was outstanding. Started off relatively slow, but towards the middle to the end of the season was phenomenal. One of the informed players of the comp. He was great. Very, very good. Look, not too much more to say on him. Great year for Scotty Drinkwater. And he was pretty well. I think he was like top 6 or 7 in the Dally M count as well. So crazy to think. But yeah, shout out to Scott Drinkwater. Definitely deserves to be there in the top 5. All right, next up. I know he won the Dally M, but I've got to go Kalyn Ponga. And I'll explain why. So KP missed a lot of footy at the start of the year. And while this, when he came back, I think he started the fullback role for the Knights around round 13. Absolutely killed it from there. Was arguably the best player in the game. You could argue Sean Johnson, but KP went on this massive run with the Knights. Took them from close to the bottom of the ladder all the way up to 5th spot. They got a home final. They won that final. Well, not really convincingly, but I think they were easily the better team. And just he's done an amazing job for Newcastle, and I think he definitely deserves to be in the top 3. However, the reason I'm putting this man, Reece Walsh, in number 1 is the whole season. He's just been Mr. Consistency. And yes, he'll make an error here or there, but he'll back it up with an outstanding play that just breaks the game apart and switches the momentum to the Broncos. He is just that type of player. He's had an amazing season. He's the buy of the year. He probably would have come close to fullback of the year had it not have been the suspension. Look, I think he's been outstanding all season. Definitely deserves the number 1 spot for me in the ranking list. And I get it. I know a lot of you guys, like you did last year when I brought out my ranking videos, said, Kalyn Ponga won the Dally M. How's he not number 1 on this ranking list? I'm basing it off the whole season. Like, Reece Walsh has been way more consistent, and that's not a knock on KP. It's not at all. Because if the Knights had him at fullback from the get-go, I reckon they're a top 4 side in 2023. I really do. So, look, not a knock on KP whatsoever. Reece Walsh has just had a phenomenal year, and I think he deserves number 1. But, guys, I'm sure you will. Let me know your changes in the comments. I definitely know you guys will make some changes, and I would love to hear from you too. Just please try and be respectful. I'm respectful to you guys in the comments, so try and be respectful to me. I know some of you guys don't like when I do these tier lists because I rate your team relatively low. I get it. I know it's frustrating when people do that, but I'm trying to be as... I'm not trying to be biased at all. If I was biased, I'd have Latrell as the top 5, but he's not. He's genuinely not this year. He can be. He's not this season. And if you said to me he should be ranked lower, I probably wouldn't disagree. But yeah, look, I'm going to wrap it up there because I know you guys are typing your comments. Let me have it. Drop it down below because I know I'm going to cop it. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. See you guys.